This is MiMo Mike Mozart, and this is some of the Halloween decor, actually some Christmas and Easter too, that I designed for a company called Sunhill Industries, probably in the late 1980s up until about 2000. This is one of my favorite pieces, a stack of pumpkins I probably made around 1996. I'm the original designer, creator, and sculptor of this product, and most of my blow molded products had innovations that had never been seen before. I had designed, created, invented all types of blow molded seasonal decor for Sunhill Industries while I was creating other lines for them, while I was doing children's books, while I was inventing toys and toy packaging. I did a lot. Let me go through these and explain these ones that I have samples of today. And I actually have all the catalog sheets. This is how they sold them, through catalog sheets. I have the catalog sheets for not only these, but for other ones that I don't have samples of on hand. All of the blow molded products I created for Sunhill, actually most of the products I've created for my whole life, and even the paintings I'm doing now on Instagram with Mr. Monopoly and Richie Rich, everything includes innovations that are industry changing. I never wanted to do the normal average thing, and none of the things I've designed for anybody were normal and average. These molds were very expensive. For a company like Sunhill or any company creating these big blow molded things for lawns in the 1980s, 1990s, these were a $35,000 to $40,000 investment just for the mold. That's not what they paid me to do the original sculpture or paid me in royalties for doing it. But I had an innovation. The first one is to make them thinner front to back. See, they were quite thin, so you could ship two pieces in the space of one, which reduced cost on shipping. Another one is the mold was two-sided. So this side had a skeleton, a black cat, and a tombstone, and on this side there was a witch and black cat. So a store like Walmart or Target or Canadian Tire, a lot of people bought this piece, is they would only paint one side of each design and then sell them as an assortment of two for $19.95. A store chain like Walmart could buy both sides painted and sell it for $24.95, which Target did. Actually, the ones painted on both sides are quite rare. This is my prototype. This is my sample prototype. The first one off tool. Up until my pumpkin was introduced through Sunhill Industries, my design and my creation, most pumpkins like this were very big and round and fat. What I did is I made them taller and oval for the height. I made them a little narrower side to side because it's less space to ship. You can put two in the space of one. And you can see how flat it is. I flattened it somewhat. It still looked great on a lawn. No one would know the difference. But in the back, because it was flatter, I could put a hanger on the back so I could hang on each side of a door or hang on each side of a window. And I had a smaller extension cord plug inside here because most people using these things were already using an extension cord. Wanted to have a space where you could plug it right into the piece. I designed it so there was a keyhole here so the extension cord, if it had three outlets, would fit. And this would fit very nicely down this groove, the cord, and it could hang outside in the house. This piece was redesigned at the very end of Sunhill's existence, about 2001, to have two faces. It would have the smiley face on this side and a frowny, scary face on this side. The molds were already in production, but Mac Plastics folded. The company that was making these, it was bought out by Falcon Industries, Falcon Plastics, and a lot of these products were distributed later after Sunhill tanked through a company called Grand Venture. I think a remnant of Sunhill still exists to this day, but it basically collapsed when it was sold from the original owner to a Chinese company. These pumpkins and the stack of pumpkins made through Mac Plastics had an unfortunate design flaw, is that if they were left outside for an extended period of time in the sun, they turned canary yellow. It's actually rare to find them still in the original orange condition. Mine were never displayed outside. They were always inside wrapped up as samples. But you'll find a lot of these used that are bright canary yellow. That's because of the resin didn't have UV inhibitors in them to keep them from turning yellow. That's why. This is my amazing stack of pumpkins, which came out with Sunhill probably around 1994. It's one of the first two that I created for the company. And at the time, stack of pumpkins was just starting to become like a design thing in arts and crafts and things like that. So as the first person to create something like this, this was done through Mac Plastics. It was an expensive mold, but it's one of the early ones that showed that these pumpkins aren't really round. They're really quite flat front to back. And I had a long, skinny slot on the back that held two lights, a lamp at the top and a lamp at the bottom, like two 5-watt bulbs. And there was a channel for the cord to fit down so you can mount it on your house with a little hole up here that's made for a nail or a hook. And these were intended to be sold where you'd buy two of them, one on each side of a door. I actually sold this on QVC. This is one of my QVC items at the time. And they were sold as a set of two, probably for $54.95. And I saw quite a few of them on QVC. I'm trying to find the original video of that. The Witch and Black Cat blow molded is another one of those design innovations where he was very thin front to back, so you could ship two in the same space as one. Had the same innovations of the little hanger on the back, the hang hole, and the channel for the extension cord to go down. And this was a very, very popular one. This was in production the entire time until Mac Plastics, the company that made them, went out of business. They became unavailable. Again, Falcon Industries bought out the molds and bought out the rights to their products. And most of these were distributed for a while through Grand Venture, which was another blow molded company, which I don't believe is still in business anymore. I don't even know where the molds are for this original stuff. But this is one of my innovations too. We used to call this guy Flipper. We sort of nicknamed a lot of these characters. This was Flipper, and the cat's name was Cole, C-O-A-L. Sunhill also released a series of bright yellow moons that were this thick. They shipped in a nice small area, and they hung. There was a little keyhole at the top. We call them keyholes, where you put them over the nail. And it hung flat, but we did a lot of different designs. You can make one tool, one mold, then you could print a lot of different things on it. So we did the witch and the cat here, but we also did a cat on a fence here. We also did a spider over here. And we also did a series of 3 ghosts, and we did a Santa for Christmas and a sleigh going across the moon. We did quite a few of these. Most of them were the slides from our shadow projectors, just repurposed for these. And this is my bunny. This is the Easter bunny, which we never named. We always called it the White Easter Bunny. And the back was the same way. The back was very flat and it was narrow front to back. And had the little hang hole at the top here so you could hang it on a wall too. That was a real innovation. No blow molded really had that at the time. And it had a channel, had the place where an extension cord could fit in it easily. It'd be very easy to use. People sort of joked about the flat tail that we added on the back because some buyer wanted the tail, so we added it, probably Walmart. And a lot of these were sold. A lot of these were sold for over a decade for a Mac plastic tank. And I don't know if Grand Venture or any of the other companies tried to use these molds, but this was one of my favorites at the time. Original sculpture, my design, original sculpture, my creation, everything. These were released in at least 25 or 30 different colors. We had like 8 stock colors at Sunhill, very Easter colors like pink, purple, magenta, a lighter pink. But what happened is stores like Walmart, Kmart, Target, Canadian Tire, Zellers, they all wanted their own special colors, slightly different tints to match their Easter program, like teals and aqua, green, blues, and these. So there's at least 25 to 30 different variations in color in these eggs. Unfortunately, none of them are marked Sunhill on them. They had a hang tag. I'll show you in the next item. This is a very rare blow molded piece. It's not rare in production. Hundreds of thousands of these were made for Sunhill. They were sold many different ways. The mold would make a round egg with a rounded bottom that you couldn't open. And they were intended to put across your lawn or hang in trees and sold in sets of 9 or 12. A lot of these were sold. There must have been 200,000 sets of these sold as 9s or 12s. And we did variations. One of them is to sell like 6. The bottoms were cut off and they had a little insert. These are the inserts that go in shipping tubes. We found out would fit in there. So we ordered those and stuck them in. And then when we made them as fillables, like here's a little fillable egg to give as a gift to a child, we actually put a slot in it so it could be a bank after Easter, which was kind of nice. We actually there was a set of these for Sesame Street, and there were 9 of them. We had these big shrink wrap inserts that went inside this and was sold as an Easter egg decorating thing for your house. You put the films around and dip them in hot water or use a blow dryer and they'd shrink around the eggs, shrink wrap film. I'm trying to find my samples of them. I have the catalog sheets for them. I have the original art for them, but I don't have any samples. Hopefully some will turn up on eBay. Sunhill made other blow molded items. These were little candy baskets. These actually came in from China, from one of the vendors in China I used to go visit. And these are replicas of old original molds I found from the United States from defunct companies and had them duplicated. So this one was a witch. We did a pumpkin, we did ghosts, we did skulls like this as little candy baskets. And we used this brand, which I invented and created the character Clyde Webmore. And this was intended to be Sunhill's like bargain basement line that would go into dollar stores and places like Family Dollar, Dollar General, where they were just inexpensive. We never expected the big retailers like Kmart, Walmart, or Target to buy them, but oddly enough, some of them bought them in custom colors. A lot of these inexpensive items did wind up in the big retailers with their own packaging on them. Sunhill also distributed quite a few Christmas items. This Christmas item is a Santa that I sculpted. There was an old original sculpture of this that was owned by Mac Plastics, probably from someone a lot earlier. And they had copied an earlier piece than this by Polaron. This is the original Polaron one, probably from 1965 or 1967. And one of the problems is it was very, very detailed and it was quite big. And this piece had been made smaller, but too small. So what I did is I changed this one. I made the beard simpler on this, and they changed the tooling to make him 2 inches taller. This had been 28 inches tall when Sunhill got the mold. We adapted it to add an inch to the top of the hat. We adapted it to add a little inch, which you could see on the bottom. See that little crease? We added an inch. So we can make it 30 inches tall. So it was almost the height of the Polaron one now. But now Walmart would buy it because Walmart wanted one that was 30 inches tall for a great price, which they got. And there are a lot of my little design changes in this that could accommodate the existing tool, which made him look more like the Coca-Cola Santa. And I had done quite a lot of artwork for the Coca-Cola Santa for advertising and products, particularly for the Danbury Mint that had done quite a few. And I'm really good at painting and drawing Santa Clauses, so it was perfect. The candy cane is not the same candy cane that you've seen around. This one actually takes up less shipping space and it's narrower. The distance between the curve, one end here and there, is actually about 3 inches smaller than the standard candy canes. And it had a very small base. So it shipped in smaller area. Everything I designed was to look beautiful, look the same, but ship in a smaller area because it made it less expensive and Walmart would buy it. So this is the Sunhill candy cane, which is different than the ones that are out there now, unless somebody has found this old mold and they're running it. Well, Mac Plastics molds all sort of disappeared, but they could have gotten sprinkled around other manufacturers at the time. At least you've got a good idea. So this is mine, but it's an adaptation of a mold that was adapted from this old Polaron piece, but I think mine looked a little more pleasing. No, it wasn't bad. I kind of liked it. I did do quite a few changes in it to simplify it. The simpler the design, like this beard's complicated, the simpler design made it easier to mold them and mold them with speed, because you didn't have to worry about imperfections where the resin didn't quite fill up all these little details, which happened quite a lot on the older things. Well, as competitors are wont to do, that tall stack of pumpkins and this adorable window sitter was created by a friendly competitor. I became quite friendly with Don Featherstone, and these are two samples he gave me. And I like the guy so much I actually kept his original showroom samples rather than some of my own because I didn't care so much for those, and I thought these were so adorable, aren't they? Don Featherstone was quite a character, like the nicest guy on earth. And even though as a competitor, I was quite friendly with him. And he, of course, made his own version of my stack of pumpkins as this little stack, which was pretty nice. I liked the bright orange resin he used. He owned the company, so he could do about whatever he wanted. Not Sunhill, another company. But aren't they magnificent? I really like these. I'm glad I kept these samples. This one's a little smaller than mine and could be sold for a little bit cheaper price. But people still really preferred my big, impressive one with the big smiley faces in yellow. And don't forget to rate, favorite, subscribe, and share. And tell everyone Mike Mozart is back on the Toy Channel on YouTube. Thanks again.